I'm Scott L. Miller. It is the 21st of April, 2022. It's Thursday morning, and we've got the family out. We are heading east in León. We are going to the Museum of Myths and Legends, which we tried to go to, Martina and I, just the other day, and they were closed. So we heard that they're open today. We've got camera gear. We got everybody ready. We are out the door, and we are walking down there. We're actually walking, which is great. One of the great things about León is how easy it is to walk everywhere you want to go. So this is a cool museum. We've heard a bit about it. It is a modern art museum where they are celebrating the myths and legends of this region of Nicaragua. So that should be really interesting, and we're going to take you with us. Let's head out. Originally built as a prison in 1921, this facility was famous for political prisoners and those being tortured during the middle of the century. In 1979, it was abandoned after the revolution until in 2000, the facility was given over to a museum, and now it celebrates the myths and legends of Nicaragua. It is a really beautiful, small, but very beautiful spot right in the middle of the city. So you're just south of El Centro, so you're in a nice area, very centrally located, easy to walk to from the big southern barrios, and easy to walk to if you're staying in the tourist area in the middle of town, and very inexpensive. It's privately run on government land, so the government owns the land because it is a prison. That's not the kind of thing you sell, but the museum is operated privately, so it's private exhibits and operated by a private family who keeps the facility nice on behalf of the city. So great thing to come out and support a local business by coming to the museum and to explore a bit of Nicaraguan history and its culture through its legends and myths and folklore. Pretty neat. I'm really enjoying getting to see this. I like the artwork. A lot of this is mosaic work, which is pretty cool. During the revolution, the church here across from the museum was burned, and they've left the shell there as kind of a memorial to the revolution. The museum here, of course, was a prison and is now also a memorial and museum to the revolution. But as I walk along the slightly scary guard post up here, I mean, this wall is kind of tall. I don't know if you can see down. I mean, it's not... I mean, you'd die, right? But it's you're not too likely to go plummeting over the side, and it's a nice, sturdy, flat wall to walk along, and you come into the little guard booth. I'm going to turn you around so you can see. Well, actually, I'm just going to turn around with you. This right here is the old burned-out church, and some of the shell is still there, and this is very close to where we live. And then I'm going to turn you around so you can see the main part of the museum where we started. It's right down here, this beautiful garden area with all the mosaics and artwork. And then this is a large just myth and legends exhibit that they're building up there. But overall, this is a cool museum. I gotta say, this is a lot of fun. We've been here for probably an hour. They have nice little exhibits with write-ups that explain the different myths and legends and some historical stuff and artwork. And just overall, I have to say, it's very cheap and very easy and relaxing. And you could bring definitely food here. There's a little, I'm actually gonna turn around and show you the other garden. We'll walk along the front wall. It's really funny how we can just get everywhere on this wall. I love this wall. And Martina said this wall has not been open previously, so this is a relatively new thing that you're able to come up here. So she's never seen it, and she's from the city. But here's the courtyard of the prison section. So the front is like the art museum, and the back part is the legends in the actual museum structure. But you could definitely bring a lunch from somewhere and eat in here. It's very pleasant and quiet and gets you away from the rest of the city. You're right in the middle of things. I mean, we walk down this street over here all the time, and we see this, but we never get to come in. It's great. So I would say if you're in León, this is kind of a cool thing to come do because it's so cheap and easy and different and gives you this really cool look at Nicaraguan culture. So let's go explore some more. The museum is really cool, and it's got these really unique different areas. In the front is artwork, so it's very much sculptures and mosaics and an expressive kind of myths and legends through expression area. In the back, when you go through the main gates, you come into the courtyard of what used to be the prison, and the prison building has been converted to hold, and the prison grounds to hold basically dioramas. So at some points they're just mannequins, and in some they're entire dioramas, but they tell the stories of different myths and legends. So you go into a small room and they'll have one or two or maybe three different myths or legends that they have written out, and they have dioramas to help visualize, and you can read that and see it. Now obviously this is not a big fancy museum, it's not a big budget for this, There isn't a lot of money going into it. Nobody is sponsoring this on some big scale. So when you do this, you have to have a certain eye towards, this is a very low budget experience, but it's very important for explaining a lot of the culture and history here in Nicaragua and the region. In that regards, I think it was really valuable. The price to get in was super low. And then I think the experience was really entertaining and good. You're probably only going to want to put in about a maximum of 2 hours, but it's a good 2 hours, and there's good spots to take photographs and film. And I think it's good for kids and adults because it's telling these stories, and these are things that a lot of us don't know. Even as adults, there's a lot of these myths and legends are like, oh, I've never heard that one before, and sometimes it like tells you things about the culture.
Elegant horses, and that is why the dancing represents a Spanish riding a little mare, making him dance to the sound of the drums.
We have friends who own Black Jackal Clothing Company, and we don't really know the legend of the Black Jackal, but they explain that legend at this museum. So it was really nice for us to learn about that and understand what that name of that company refers to. Now we understand it a lot better. And a lot of the legends for us are pretty cool because they take place in our barrio. So it's like, oh my gosh, this is some famous Nicaraguan legend, and it's supposed to take place like on our block or the one next to it. That's pretty neat. That's something you don't see every day. And then the third section is the upper wall. You're able to go up, and this is relatively new, is what I'm told. This wasn't open not just a year or two in the past. All right, we've done all the art and history of the museum, and now we are checking out the upper guard wall of because this is built in a prison, and you're actually able to come up to the little tiny stairs and walk along the old wall that was the perimeter, and the guards would walk up here, obviously, and watch for escapees. And it's kind of unique to be able to get up this high in this part of the city. So this is pretty interesting, both as a prison and as just an observation point to see what León looks like from above. Of course, you can do things like go up to on the top of the basilica and in downtown, which is not very far away, and in other places, and of course people have roofs, but this is a bit higher and more centrally located than a lot of other spots. So just looking around, there's very few places you could possibly stand, and for someone in the public to get access, this is kind of unique. So I'll show you a little bit around. Walking along up here is really cool. One, you get a really nice breeze, and we're really lucky that this is an overcast day. So even though it's warm, it's not terrible. It is humid today. That's a little bit of a challenge, but in general, it's decent temperatures, and with the cloud cover, it's actually quite nice. Getting up this high on top of the wall is really nice. The breeze is just continuous, and I mean, I'm really liking this view. I'm just gonna turn you around so you can see we're right off of El Centro. Overall, we had a fun time. The girls enjoyed it. Dominica enjoyed it. I think Martina enjoyed giving us a tour. We had fun. I'm very glad that we came out, and it made for a really interesting day. These are the kinds of things that you're going to remember. And if you're on vacation here in Nicaragua, this is something I would recommend because it takes almost no money. It is not that hot. You can bring in, some ice water or even a picnic, and there's places to eat. Come in and relax and do something slow and different. This is something you'll remember, and you can do it in the middle of the day when you wouldn't be doing other things in many cases. I like it. Museums are a neat way to get to know a country, and when you go to some places like Madrid or London, your chances of doing a museum are very high, and you're always doing the same kinds of things. Here's a natural history museum, here's an art museum, here's a science museum, and the experience is not all that tied to that country in many cases. Even the Louvre or the Prado, you're getting a very generic experience, one that's very important, and you get some of the best artwork in the world, but you're not getting something that's particularly French or Spanish. But when you come to a museum like this, you are getting a uniquely Nicaraguan experience that you're not going to get anywhere else, and that is pretty awesome. That was our day. We spent the morning getting ready for that, and then the whole heat of the day we were at the museum, and then it was time to head home, and I had to get back to work because I gave up a lot of the day at the museum. But I'm really glad we did it. We had fun. It was a nice family outing. I will see all of you tomorrow.